All right. Well, we're going to move on and we're going to continue going here. We got a great, finish here today, and we're going to have one of our certified financial educators, Chantay Moore. She is someone who came to us from the traditional industry, came to us several years ago. And one of the things she said to me in our first meeting was, Angelo, what can you possibly teach me? I already know, I'm from the industry. And one of the things that we kind of talked about was that in the traditional industry, that a lot of people like us, like where I got started, where she got started, we weren't even good enough to be customers of the company that we work for. And we thought that was a gap. We thought there was a gap on how we could help people. We thought there was a gap on who we could reach. And she immediately gravitated to the education side and has done a tremendous amount of things and being fully licensed, and now is a certified financial educator, does workshops all around, and also is utilizing technology. She's going to talk to us about a great tool that you have at your disposal today if you're on this call, which is the Campaign Manager. And I'm going to turn it over to her. Chantay, can you hear me?
Yes, Angelo, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for that introduction, Angelo. I chuckled because you're right. I tell that story all the time, how I was so stuck up and full of myself and thinking I knew everything, and came over to our platform and was totally transformed, realized I didn't know anything. So I've been blessed to have been with our company now for over 6 years. And today I will be talking about how to build an online marketing campaign. I will be, let me just switch the screens really quickly. And I love talking about using technology, especially when it becomes to marketing, and especially for our new associates, because a lot of times when we get into the industry, especially with our company, we take individuals from different backgrounds, from different, careers. And a lot of times the biggest challenge is, how do I just market myself? How do I, let people know that I'm in this new career, that I'm, embarking in this new industry. And one of the ways that you can definitely do that is using one of our tools called Campaign Manager to create that presence. Because the one thing that you have to do is just to let people know that you are in business, that you are a financial professional, and building your credentials. And one of the easiest ways to do it is through the tools that's available through our back office, through World Financial Group, which is through Campaign Manager. So I'm going to be flipping between the presentation and actually showing you the tool online. But I did want to talk about, well, why do we need, what is Campaign Manager and why should we use it? So first of all, it's a free online tool for marketing compliance approved materials. So Campaign Manager, they house emails that are compliance approved, social media posts. So like for me, I love using social media to promote myself and to promote my business. So there's compliance approved social media things that I can share. A lot of people don't know, our back office gives all of us a free website and a blog that's already pre-filled with tons of content that you already have access to. And then you can also use Campaign Manager for some more advanced features, like sending out automated email newsletters. Now, I won't have time to get into that today, but I might just kind of show you what's the power of that. Why would you want to do something like that? So I'm hoping by the end of, the webinar training today, that you can take some of the things that I'll show you and establish yourself right away and to create that online presence for yourself. So another thing that Campaign Manager can also help you with is managing contact information. So I'm always meeting new people. I'm always collecting business cards. Where can I put that information? How do I keep up with it? I don't keep a Rolodex of business cards. So you can use Campaign Manager to, put in people's information, their email addresses, their phone numbers, and toss the business card. And another feature that I love about Campaign Manager that I think a lot of people don't utilize a lot is the calendar feature, that you can send reminders to yourself to follow up with individuals, to send them a message on their birthday, and I'll touch on that in a little bit as well. So let me go ahead and show you, where do you access Campaign Manager. And so you should be seeing my screen, and I'm logged into mywfg.com. And when you log in, you want to go to the menu in the up right corner, click on recruiting and selling, marketing resources, and then campaign manager. And then you can also log in directly on their website. And I'm just going to show the WFG version because there's a couple different versions of Campaign Manager. If you go to this website, app.wfgcampaigns.com, you can also log in directly there as well. You can bookmark it and just go straight there to the website. But if this is your first time, creating or setting up Campaign Manager, you definitely want to start at mywfg.com, create it there, and then in the future, just log into the website. So when you first get licensed and you become an associate with WFG, you get access to this tool. And this is the kind of like the home page. So when you log into Campaign Manager, you'll see that there are some email templates at the top. To the left of the screen, these are different channels of emails that you can use of specific content. So I'll kind of touch on this a little bit today. So for example, I'm a Transamerica financial advisor. I'm registered with TFA. So I have, Transamerica specific content that I can access. For anyone else who's not securities licensed, who's not associated with TFA, our broker dealer, you'll have access to these other 5 email content databases, which is WFG, which they create specific WFG content, WSB, World System Builder, because we all fall under that chain there. They have specific content. Nationwide. So I love that Nationwide just trained. They actually have integrated a lot of their marketing materials and email messages into our campaign manager. So a lot of those things that Jimmy talked about, you can actually send out an email blast or post to social media about using the Nationwide channel here. And then they also have one for ExamFX for those of you who are interested in building a team and maybe you want to send out emails to your teammates about how to get licensed through ExamFX. And then lastly, Legacy Shield, which is one of our online estate planning programs that we use. It's one of our referral partners. They too have email messages and a library of content that you can send about just estate planning, because that's a unique conversation to have. So at the bottom, when you first come to Campaign Manager, again, I want to just tell you what to do, how to get set up so that you can start using this today. The first and probably most important thing that you want to establish is creating your profile. So when you log in, you'll find a circle at the bottom on the left corner. So you see my picture down there, and you click on Manage Profiles. So the rest of these things, don't worry about. This is more advanced. We'll probably train on that later, but just go to Manage Profiles. I'm just going to zoom my screen in a little bit. And one thing about a profile is when you start to send content or email messages from Campaign Manager, you want to set up a profile for any email addresses that you will be using for business purposes. So think of, okay, if I'm going to, reach out to a contact that I met last night at a networking event, what email address do I want to send them, a hello message to, or great to connect with you, email message to. So for my purpose, I'm going to switch between the WFG Campaign Manager and WealthWave just because they have a little different profiles. So, but for most of you, because especially if you're new, we all have access to the WFG campaign. As you can see, I created 3 profiles here. So I have one profile where it uses my Transamerica Financial Advisors email address. And then I have 2 additional profiles. I'm also a certified financial educator. That's my professional title that I use. So I have an Heartland Institute profile that I use where I send email messages from my Heartland email. And then when I was first getting into the industry, I used to market myself as a World Financial Group associate. I don't any longer, but I did want to show this because sometimes when you first get into the business, you don't have a business email address. That's one thing our platform does not offer you. So sometimes people might rely on like a Gmail, a Hotmail, or some type of personal email address, maybe a yahoo.com email. I highly don't encourage it. I just always think of, you want to have a professional presence. You want to show people that you're in business. But for those of you who do not have a professional business email address, this might be your only option. So I just wanted to leave that there. to kind of show you that profile that you can use as well. Again, and these could be for any professional emails that you can add into Campaign Manager. It does not only have to be WFG or business related. So I want to show you why is this important, because the profiles that you create and that you establish can also be used to create your website, because remember I mentioned earlier, you also have a free website that'll be available to you. So just going to go through, I'm not going to show, step by step of how to do so. Number one, always add a professional image, a professional headshot. Um, I highly do not add anything taken from a party or a cell phone. You really want to use a professional image, because Campaign Manager can generally attach your headshot to all the emails that you send out. So again, you want to have that professional presence. You add in all of your contact information. You add in, the logo for whatever channel that you want to use. And then here you can add in your social media links. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So they have the opportunity to where you can add your website, and I will show you that next. You can add your blog. I'll show you how to get that as well, because we all have a blog. If you have a Twitter handle that you use, a Facebook that you use, a LinkedIn, I recommend everyone create your LinkedIn. That's another separate training that we've done in the past. Create a professional LinkedIn page and always add that in. I tell people click on those links all the time, and the reason why these are important is because when you send an email, the email will include a link to your website. It will include a link to your blog. So whatever you put in here, the emails will include a link so that people can go and check out those resources that you provide. You will put in your office address, your contact phone numbers, and generally you would probably have a footer to add in. These are default messages that will go into any email address that you send out. So again, create as many profiles as you need. I suggest at least you want to have one profile in there. And the reason why is because as you by having access to this tool, when you create your profile, now you can actually go and create your website. And again, I want to show you what you can do right now today to start and create your online presence. So let's say, so for example, with WFG, because I'm securities licensed with Transamerica, I actually no longer have a WFG email or website, rather. I have a TFA email or website. So you can go to, and you can click on WFG or WSB, and they have their own web pages as well. So if I clicked on WFG, you could click on the web page. WSB also has a web page that you can create. So there's different websites that you can create under these channels. So I'm just going to show you my Transamerica web page because that's the one that I have access to right now. So you would go to web page, and let me minimize this out again. And so when you go to web page, you see they have your profile already selected. So you can switch profiles. You can, you want to choose whichever contact information that you want associated to your website. And you put in your name, you put in your title. So all websites that we create will be it'll have the front part automated, and then it'll normally attach your first and last name. And then again, I have, my LinkedIn website. We all receive a howmanyworks.com website. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I also highly, highly encourage you to sign up for a free online appointment scheduling, website or program as well. And I'll show you why that's really important. So when you create your profile, go right away and start to create your web page. And then you'll be able to see exactly what that looks like. So I'm going to show you my Transamerica Financial Advisors website. So as you can see, it has my contact information in the top right. It has my LinkedIn page. It has a button where you can email me. It has full contact information, my phone numbers, my address. But look at this. These websites are so professional. They look really good. They have videos on there. They have, where people can call you or set an appointment. They have books that people can download. This is a really great tool that you can point someone to show, again, that you are in this industry, that you are a professional. So I wanted to show this real quickly. So just how you see here, this button that says set an appointment. So on my website profile, down here where it says automated appointment scheduling, that's where you want to add a link to someone to schedule an appointment with you online. Me being in this industry and business for so long, when you meet with people, I hate the back and forth. Or when are you available? No, I can't do this day. Can you do this day? You know, just use an online scheduler and just make it so much easier. So if someone wants to set an appointment with me, it takes them right to my calendar that they can schedule a 30-minute phone call. Because a lot of times, if someone's finding me online, I don't need to necessarily meet with them in person. So for me personally, I offer a 30-minute phone call, and then people can find times and they can schedule this. So this particular, if you're interested, this particular appointment online scheduler is called calendly.com. This Calendly, CALENDLY.com. I asked campaign manager, I asked the team there, I said, what program do you recommend to use for an appointment scheduler? And they recommended calendly.com. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up for a free account with them and right away have an online presence for people to schedule an appointment with you. I just want to pause real quickly and go back to the presentation here. So when we're looking at, again, setting up, you want to create your profile. So two things to mention. Like I said, you can use a personal email address or a business email address. So two things I want to highlight here is that if you use a personal email address, because remember, this is a system to send bulk email messages. It doesn't have to be bulk email. You can send it to one or two people, but generally when I'm sending out a campaign, it's to a lot of people. But if you use a personal email address, like with a Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail, you can only send 25 emails at a time. So just keep that in mind, because you might get to a point where you have 500 contacts. And if you're still using a personal email address, you'll have to break that down into sending out in 25, in batches of 25. Now, if you have a business email address, if you use the Premier platform, we all talk about using our Premier marketing platform, which is WealthWave. They give you a WealthWave business email address. If you are affiliated with Heartland, you get a Heartland email address. If you're with Transamerica Financial Advisors, you will get a TFA email address. So with a business email address, they do not have that 25 max limit on there. I know for WealthWave, you can send an unlimited amount of emails using your WealthWave email address. For Heartland, I believe it's up to 500. It might be 1,000 that you can send at once. And for TFA, they limit you to 100 email addresses, 100 emails at a time. So again, just know that with the business email, you can send more in bulk at one time versus your personal email address. So again, you want to right away after you create your profile, enable your website. So I just briefly showed you my Transamerica Advisor website. If you are a licensed associate with WFG, you will have a wfgconnects.com website that has your first name, last name at the back of it. If you're with Transamerica, you'll have your website TFA with your first name, last name. Again, if you also use wealthwave.com, you'll have a WealthWave email address. Regardless of whether you have WFG, TFA, or WealthWave, all of us, every person on this webinar has a howmoneyworks.com website. So that's howmoneyworks.com/first name, last name. And I will show you what that looks like now. Let me just go back. So I want to show you real quickly. So this is WealthWave's Campaign Manager. Again, it looks exactly the same, except to your left, they only give you WealthWave specific content. Their email address that you can log in is with app.wealthwave360.com. And then this is an example of the WealthWave the WealthWave website. And on the WealthWave website, this is where you can find your howmoneyworks.com. So again, everybody gets the free howmoneyworks.com website. And then you also, whether you have a TFA or WFG, you also have a blog. So these are the links that you would go to pull those websites that you can share with others. So I want to actually kind of wrap up. I'm coming up on my time that I have here. So I just wanted to point out, let me just switch back to the presentation again really quickly, and then I'll end. And just start right away, enable your website. And most importantly, use, again, some online scheduling service. I showed you how calendly.com looks. You could also use acuityscheduling.com. Another part of creating your campaign manager, which I won't, unfortunately won't have time to get into detail today, is to add your contacts to campaign manager. So I'll just kind of highlight it, a couple things to keep in mind. When you're first setting this up, I highly suggest that you create groups for your contacts. And what I'm referring to is here. So when you are going to, let me see, let me go back to the home page for campaign manager. You have contacts. To the left, you could create groups of people. So like I've created a group of clients as 100 people in here. I have TFA prospects as 100 people in there. That's Heartland. And the reason why I suggest that you create different groups of people is because you probably meet people from different areas. It could be a networking event. It could be a prospect. It could be someone who is now a client. You might send different types of messages to different people. I always suggest create groups just so that you can keep the people sorted, or if you use more than one email address and have more than one profile. Another important thing is that you do not want to spam anyone. This program is highly efficient at figuring out if you are spamming people. So if you do not have the consent to email these people and their email addresses are, or they either bounce back or people unsubscribe from your email messages, campaign manager will have a problem with that. They will contact you. They will say, hey, you have people in here, they are not liking your emails. Did you receive approval or proof? Did you receive the okay to email those folks? So create the groups. Also, you could set up birthday, anniversary, meeting reminders. I won't have time to show that. But most importantly, just start sending content. So just real quickly, and then I'll close. So like I mentioned, and I'll just use Nationwide. So they have so many pre-written content and tools in here. If you click on library for any of these channels, they have messages and emails that can be sent out. And all of these things are pre-written. So you literally just click on the three dots and you're able to create an email message and to send it with someone. So I would encourage you, go in here, take time looking at the different channels here on the left to see what type of email messages are available to you. So like you could see there's some about, universal life, the index universal life, like Jimmy just talked about. So if you wanted to send someone a message about IULs, then they would be able to, there's some files, there's things that you could send out. Again, they have the brochures and things in here that are available to you to send out to prospects. So I hope that high level, at least you know how to create your profile, enable your website, and then in the future, we can also do more trainings about how to create messages to send out